Court. Well, this morning we're going to present several viewpoints on the health care reform law. In 30 minutes, we'll hear from a health care reform supporter. With us now, we have attorney Gayle Trotter. She's counsel for the Independent Women's Forum, a group which opposes the law, a group which filed a friend of the court brief against Obamacare before the Supreme Court when the arguments were first heard. Gayle, thank you for being here with us this morning. This has gone through the lower courts and it has survived. Why do you think there will be a difference, or at least hoping there will be a different outcome this morning?
We're hoping that the Supreme Court is going to completely overturn the law, because the law fundamentally changes the relationship between the government and the citizen. And more importantly, the whole reason behind the law was that it would change the access and affordability of health care for citizens. And we see now, after 2 years of the law being in place, with some of the provisions not coming into effect even until 2014, that it's already moved everything in a different direction. But more importantly, the law is unconstitutional because the basis of the Constitution, which they say gives the Congress the authority to make this...
That commerce power.
Yes, the commerce power. It's not, it doesn't meet the command for that, because in our 220-year history of this republic, the government has never forced individuals to buy a product, which is exactly what this law does.
But a conservative jurist, Judge Lawrence Silverman of the U.S. District Court of Appeals, in ruling that Obamacare was constitutional, said part of the problem was the limits aren't very clear. And it seems as if he's saying that the Supreme Court today must, in its ruling, show us what those limits are, very clearly and succinctly what those limits are.
But that's not what the court usually does. The court usually tries to make the smallest ruling that it can, to give the federal government as much leeway to make laws that improve lives of people as possible. So the court is not trying to just turn down everything, overrule everything that the Congress does. It's really trying to generate a limited decision. And that's why we're hoping in this case, because the bill is 2,400 pages long, that the court will just strike down the whole thing, because we don't want the Supreme Court going through and trying to pick out which parts of the law are tied to the individual mandate and which parts are not.
If not Obamacare, we still have Americans who need affordable health care. What's the solution? Because Obamacare sounds just like what Governor Romney put in place in Massachusetts, including the mandate.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because there's a difference between state and local action and federal government action. And as you continue to get up on the chain of the bureaucracy, you increase costs and you put the decisions in the hands of Washington bureaucrats instead of the patients and their doctors. So we have a lot of solutions at IWF.org if you go to our website. A main one that we suggest is allowing people to buy health insurance across state lines. And then there's a bigger market, there's more competition among health insurance companies to compete for our business.
All right, we have to cut it off there. Gayle Trotter, thank you for being here with us. And as we said, we'll have the other side of this argument later in our newscast. Jeff?